Good evening, I'm Angelica Alvarez. A national group in the spotlight for spreading the Stand Your Ground law to Florida and nearly 24 other states is facing a lawsuit. Stand Your Ground is being challenged since the fatal shooting of Trayvon Martin. The group behind spreading that law is the American Legislative Exchange Council, or ALEC. It changes the way laws are passed in states, but the lawsuit accuses the group of violating the federal tax code by improperly lobbying state legislators. Troy Kinsey has the story. Aside from Stand Your Ground, the parent trigger, and prison privatization, ALEC also helped inspire legislation to overhaul Florida's election law. It cut the early voting period in half and blocked people who changed their address on Election Day from casting a binding ballot. George Zimmerman, charged with second-degree murder in the death of Florida teen Trayvon Martin, is walking free tonight. He was released on bond overnight. Teresa Garcia reports. In court documents, Zimmerman's attorney entered a plea of not guilty. This leads us to today's Voice Your Choice poll question. We asked, do you think George Zimmerman should have been released on bond? More than 62% of you tell us yes, and another 37% of you tell us no. Those results are on our website, wctv.tv. Domestic violence is up, but the number of services to help survivors are down. The National Center for Victims of Crime says 92% of victim service providers have seen an increase in demand. In Florida, 42 domestic violence shelters had to turn away more than 3,300 women last year. Refuge House in the Big Bend says it takes $2.5 million a year to run its facilities and programs, and since 2009, they've been hit with $200,000 in cuts. But they say they would never turn away someone in trouble.
Refuge House will never take from our emergency shelters. I don't know how other centers have coped with the loss of funding, but what we have done is instead, unfortunately, had to cut back on our children's program services and some of our outreach.
They used to provide extensive counseling to children of abuse. They're still providing those services, but not on the same scale as before the economic crisis. Mitchum says they expect more cuts to their sexual violence help programs in the coming year, but they don't know just how much could be slashed. Policyholders of MetLife in Florida will be paid up to $200 million. The company has been fined $40 million for not initiating payments on life insurance policies when it knew policyholders had died. The company got the information from the U.S. government. It then used it to stop sending annuity payments to customers. But it never bothered to try and contact life insurance policy beneficiaries and send them what they were owed. CFO Jeff Atwater says there is no way the action was not intentional.
Now, how do you even say it with a straight face that a company the size of the ones we're talking about didn't know how to use that information properly? So I think it's been egregious, and I think this significant penalty that they will now pay.
The state will receive $4 million of the $40 million fine to cover its investigative costs. It's shaping up to be another bad year for wildfires. Right now, almost 80 fires are burning around Florida. 14 of them are consuming 100 acres or more. Nearly 1,500 fires have been reported since the first of the year, charring 58,000 acres of forest. That's 10,000 more than this same time last year. Commissioner of Agriculture Adam Putnam says the drought index is to blame.
It's 100 points higher, more dry at this point this year than it was last year, and we all know what a terrible wildfire season 2011 was. So this is still a very serious situation.
The director of the Florida Forest Service will give an update to the state cabinet tomorrow about these wildfires and what can be expected for the summer. The Leon County Health Department prepares clinics for National Infant Immunization Week. Eyewitness News reporter James Buckley talks to one mother who says she's thankful for the free shots. And that is quite the smile. For more information, including the times and places of this week's clinics, go to our website, wctv.tv, and click on this story. Well, up next, a recent ad for America's favorite cookie has some consumers cringing. We'll show you the controversial Oreo ad coming up.